Was there any blowback from Tommy after your book, The Disaster Artist, came out? And I think that came out in around like 2013. Was there ever, did he read it? Did he ever, have feelings about it?
So when I got the idea to write the book, he was the first person I told, and we did the screening at the Coolidge Theater in Boston. And there was so many fans there, so much love, and they just wanted more. And I thought, Tommy, I really want to write a book about this. I can tell your story of coming to San Francisco, how we met as friends, and he was very receptive to it. He gave me a lot of very powerful stories and opened up a lot. And then I interviewed him about like his time coming to San Francisco, living in New Orleans, and he, I thought it was a great chance for him to tell whatever part of his story that he was comfortable with in his own words. And then I toured with him while I wrote the book, so he knew I was doing it, and he was, he seemed supportive. But I think some of the stuff he didn't like was like, I mentioned that he was dyeing his hair black at the time. And he's like, this is false statement. I don't support. So he was like nitpicky about a few random things. And, I told like a lot of the stuff in the book I make jokes about, it doesn't mean it's real. You're not really a pirate living in San Francisco. Like that's just a joke. And so he has his own way of seeing things. And then it was like 3 weeks later, James Franco and Seth Rogen reached out after the book came out. And so that immediately like changed his mind that, oh, maybe there's something to this book and there's a lot of heart to it. And, after that we had the conference call, and he was like, he was much more receptive. But it's just funny because The Room was a project he made that he wanted me to be a part of that I didn't get. I'm like, I don't know who's going to ever pay for this, who's going to want to see it. And then the book was my idea that this story could become a film. And he was like, I only support 40%. I'm sorry. And then that worked, and it helped him out. So it's like we really helped each other out with projects neither of us really understood, which kind of sums up friendship in a lot of ways.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Now you don't feel it seems totally equal now. And anybody who sees The Disaster Artist wants to see The Room, and vice versa.
Yeah, and that was really the goal. I think with Disaster Artist, it was like, it was an insane journey, but it's also a journey about perseverance. And I think, Tommy is very much the hero of the book, and he, against all odds. I mean, it's tough when you're going out for auditions and trying to fit in and just being told no all the time. And he didn't let that stop him. And I think that could be, said for a lot of people. And there was no point to try to make him out to be this bad guy. It was more about, hey, not all of us are perfect, but it's about what we do with our chances.
Yeah, that's a really good lesson, is to don't stop no matter what, and try to just find a way. I remember auditioning for commercials. Like, I think I spent like a better part of the early aughts just constantly like going to commercial auditions, and it's just like the relentless rejection. Like, I was probably depressed for a time because I'm just like, oh, all right, it just really sucked. And thank God I sort of like found stand-up and found podcasting, because it's like most people are just not cut out to put up with that much rejection. So I give both of you so much credit.
It's really tough also to go out to auditions and pour your heart and soul in these pages and try so hard and just get nothing back. You start to think like, I just want to tell stories and work, and we're given all these roadblocks. So it's sort of liberating when you can do your own thing, just for the sheer passion of it.
Did you get a lot of I guess I wonder if you had like haters kind of at the beginning, and in the years since, like, have people turned around, have people kind of come out of the woodwork as you become more successful and start to be nicer to you and that sort of thing?
Yeah, I mean, there's always people that, maybe don't think you deserve to make a terrible movie and end up with opportunities. But for the most part, having been out there really since The Room emerged as a cult film, it's been mostly support, which has been really great. Again, people love this movie, and that's the only reason it's still around, and that's the only reason I wrote the book, was because there's so many people that wanted more information and wanted more. And then, still to this day, we're doing shows, around the country, around the world, that people still like show up for, sold out shows. So I don't know. I mean, my mom was one of the first people that was like, "This is a huge pile of crap. Like, what a mistake. This
Take
is
that, Mom.
insane." And then she wants to hear stories. She's like, "They really like people are showing up, like they're there. They like it." She just laughs about it at this point because it's sort of being a parent. You try to look out for your kid, but sometimes generations change. You don't know what people really want. And so I'm just really fortunate. I had an open mind and was willing to see an alternate path to this business.
Yeah, absolutely. If I had listened to my mom, I would have dropped out of comedy. For years, she was like, "How was clown school today?" And just never
Sounds
got
like
it. And I'm like, you know what? Improv technically is clown school, but I was like, I have a plan, Mom, I think. So, and I think that's so funny that Tommy didn't want you to out that he dyes his hair black. Meanwhile, anybody with like two eyes can see that he like obviously dyes his hair black.
But it's like, it's cool. Like, cool. It's a look. Like, no big
Yeah.
deal. I mean, I guess we're all sensitive to our own things, but it was just funny about the book. That was like one of the things that he picked up. I don't know if he's fully read it. I know he just kind of picks it up and jumps to pages, but he did really enjoy the stories of our early friendship and the road trips because I think it showed that, hey, those had a big impact on me and I remember them.
Yeah, definitely. I love that you guys have still kept in touch and maintained a friendship over the years. It's really kind of amazing. What I didn't know, I was watching another interview that you were in. You wanted Ryan Gosling to play you and Javier Bardem to play Tommy.
Yeah, that was the vision going in. It was like I love No Country for Old Men, and I just saw Tommy vibes there. I'm like, that's the guy to play Tommy. And then I saw the movie Drive, and I was like, he reminds me a lot of myself. He doesn't say much. He's just observing. Obviously, the age difference was probably off for this film, but those were the kind of the characters I had in mind as I was writing the book.
What I want to know is, was anything exaggerated from the book to the film, The Disaster Artist?
So I think it's the first time in history they had to like dumb down the insanity for the adaptation. Like the book it's a lot darker and more insane than what we saw in the film because I totally understood you wanted this movie to be accessible to a wide audience. So if like Greg and Tommy, while Tommy and I are obviously close friends, they couldn't really show how much I didn't want to be in the room initially because then it doesn't make any sense. Our crowd is sitting there going, if they're friends, why is Greg even doing it? Like he doesn't believe in it. So they just they turned up Greg's like naiveness and made him want to be part of the room and support it. And I think that was probably the biggest change. And then when Tommy met my mom, she actually said to him, "No sex." And at the time I'm like, oh dear God, what is he going to say? And he's like, well, we all do. And so
wait, this is the first time Tommy ever met your mom, and this was in the book, and the first thing Tommy says to your mom is no sex, just in general.
So they couldn't really put that in the film because two brothers are playing the characters, and it just maybe would have made it a little too weird. So the book's definitely weirder than the movie, but I think the movie was really effective in being something anybody can sit down and watch and find entertainment.
Oh, so Tommy was trying to explain to your mom that you guys don't have sex.
Or he was just saying like, she's like, don't have sex with my son, basically. And he's like, well, we all do, meaning like it's not like the answer made no sense, and then it just made it even more awkward.
What do you mean? We all have sex with him. I can't do it. You do a much better impression.
Yeah, he's like, well, we all do. What's the problem?
We all do. We are like animals.